Hello, I'm Hal Lublin.
And I'm Mark Gagliardi.
Since the dawn of humanity, one issue has gone unsettled. With the fate of the world in the balance, we're here to settle, once and for all. Best theater space.
That's right. Don't worry, everyone. We got this.
Podcasts should have a theme song. Podcasts should not have a theme song. Yes, they should. No, they shouldn't. They sound good. Yeah, but people are just going to skip past it. You know what? You're right. We got this.
Hal, let's tread the boards today, my friend.
Shall we undertake the greatest of all decisions about the theatre and its spaces?
Yes, hoist the curtains and meet me on the apron.
Many a tight have I worn in anticipation of this day.
A tight, never pairs, only one tight.
Like Punky Brewster, one leg with, one leg without, never the twain the same.
Oh, dear, I do believe Punky Brewster is being called away from us.
Oh no, her wheelbarrow rolls.
I was just trying to hear your Punky or your, what's the guy's name? Your Commandant Lassard impression?
The dad, George Gaines. Punky.
Punky.
Come here, Punky. Oh, Punky. I'm very, very, very upset that you're not here. That's I'm adding in his turn as Eric Lassard in the Police Academy movies.
Yeah.
We're
as
very,
well you should.
Very, very.
With his goldfish. I loved Commandant Lassard.
My fish. He was great.
Yeah. We're talking about theater today, Hal.
We are.
I love this. This I'm very excited about. Who asked this?
I don't know. I thought you made it up.
No, I didn't make it up. No, I thought you might have it open in front of you. Hold on. Let
you want
me
to say it? I do have it open.
I got it right
here.
here.
Is it the Discord or is this?
It was in the Discord.
It's in the Discord. I'm going to find. Let's see who finds it first.
Lucas Z Saber 44.
You found it because I misspelled theater. All right, that's fine.
Oh yeah. No, you didn't.
I spelled it theater.
Okay, as long as it had an RE at the end, you're okay.
I misspelled it twice in one word.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Theater.
Theater. We're going to the theater.
Let's go to the theater and decide.
What is your knee-jerk initial thought when you hear the topic about theater spaces?
I think we're talking about arrangements here. We're talking about like theater in the round, a band shell outside.
And I've got a list that we can go over. Yeah.
I think anything where I have to walk around among the cast is bad. The reason being...
Okay.
Not that I'm a fan of interactive theater as a whole. One of my best friends, Steve Wargo, is opening. He is now in rehearsals for an immersive theater that he is opening. That show will be in the spring. I will travel to go see it.
Mm-hmm.
But for my comfort, like I want to see theater presented to me. I don't want to walk amongst the theater, I guess. I want to watch it and I want to feel like I've seen everything.
Okay. It's interesting because the way that you jumped right into one of the types of theater being an immersive experience.
Yes.
The question originally as asked was best audience experience for live theater. So the experience is what this is about. So that was the first thing that came to my mind too, was when I think of an audience experience, I'm immediately taken to something like Sleep No More, an immersive thing. Do you think that it's specifically the ones where you are asked to interact with people, or is it any kind of immersive theater where you move around? Like there's something called a promenade show, and a promenade show is where you basically just follow the action from one place to another.
Yes.
Are you against those as well? Just like the motion itself, or is it the interactivity that you don't dig?
I'm not against either. To be clear, it's just would not be my first choice.
Yeah.
So I don't have a problem with any of them. The Promenade, I think, is really, really cool. Mm-hmm. I know that there is, I don't know if you did this show or if it was Fred's show. I know there was like a Shakespeare production that was like that, where you're following, you're doing like, you're going to a production of Midsummer Night's Dream, but you're walking through the Arden Forest, essentially.
Yeah.
Like they do it outside in a space. You go there and it's cold and they have like food and stuff. So you're experiencing it outdoors and going from scene to scene. You're all collectively going to watch what will happen next.
Yeah.
That is a very novel way to stage something.
Yeah, I loved that. I know exactly the production you're talking about. Mm-hmm. That was Ensemble Shakespeare Theater. Fred was in that. Brian directed it. And it was, it all ended in one location. Sleep No More ends all in the banquet hall. A lot of times it seems like that's the case. People will come from disparate areas to converge on the middle. But you also mentioned you want to feel like you haven't missed anything. That to me is a big thing about immersive stuff is, yeah, everybody has a different experience a lot of times, but that means you've got to do it multiple times to get multiple experiences.
Right. But it also means you could go have one experience that is complete for you that you enjoy very much. And then you decide to come back. Like if you like it, you will come back. And it's like you get to see multiple shows in the same space, a space you become more and more familiar with. So in that way, I think it's really good. Something like Tony and Tina's Wedding to me is a little bit more like I'm being pulled into it. It doesn't bother me as much. I'm a little bit uncomfortable. Like if I go to see a show, I don't want to be in it. I just want to watch it and admire and experience and take it in that way. I don't want to supply anything.
Yeah.
That could be different for me. I feel like you're probably a little bit more willing a participant because you've done a little bit more participatory. Even the panto that you did recently, like you want the kids. Yeah. You want some interaction with the audience. That's what makes the show fun. For me, like watching that show, I was like, oh, I don't want anyone to call on me during this. I just want to experience it. And I love that everybody else is getting into it, but like, I'm not here. I do shows all the time. Like I'm enjoying being off the clock and just sort of watching.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that may be part of it too, because there's a novelty for a lot of people that don't spend a lot of time on stage to get that spotlight and enjoy it or be uncomfortable in it or find that they're getting gently poked within that or whatever the circumstance is. I do like that Sleep No More. They're like, you know what? You just can be a viewer of this. We're going to put a white mask on you. No one's even going to see your face. So you can walk around and experience this thing as you would. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think I frequently am a guy that likes to just go and watch a show. And also, if it is an interactive show, I'm not going to lie. Sometimes there's those situations where I do not want to get called on because there's a little voice in my brain that if I get called on, they go, oh no, man, everyone's gonna know. Cause I'm going to the theater, man. I'm going to the theater. You want to be loose sometimes.
Yeah, of course.
I don't want to be this loose in front of this audience.
Do you think there is an interactive experience for you that would be the best theatrical experience? We're spending a lot of time talking about it, which is good because it's a very wide-ranging thing. There's Sleep No More, right now, yeah. Tony and Tina. There's the Shakespeare Ensemble Company. Like there's that. There's what my buddy Steve is working on in Denver with DIRT, which is the Denver Immersive Repertory Theater, I think is the name of it, is what that stands for. Get your tickets now. But we're talking about all those different kinds. Do you think any of those are the best?
I don't know. I think any type of theater can move a person. Like I can be moved by an immersive piece of theater. I can be moved by a simple end stage show, which we'll get to what an end stage show is. But basically it's just a platform or a clearing at one end of the room and a bunch of chairs aimed at it. It's as simple as that. Like I can be moved by a performance. I can be moved by a piece of music. Any great piece of theater I think can move you. I don't know that I want it to be like, for me personally, I don't know if the avant-garde stunt kind of theater is going to be the thing that moves me the most, more than I think it's going to be something that I enjoy. I think it's cool and novel, but I think if I want a human story, and I think that's what's happening now is this need for real human stories, right? Because there's, a lot of slop out there happening. Mm-hmm. So to get a real human story, I want to see people set up in the best way for it. You know what I mean? If theater is good storytelling, then I want to see the best version of storytelling, and that's what's going to move me as a piece of theater.
Sure. So I think it's fair to say that any type of theater setting can elicit a reaction, can create a connection. None of these are bad.
No,
one of them.
We're theater practitioners, for God's sake.
Our job here, as it has been since 2015, so for almost 11 years, has been to take things that everybody else thinks are subjective, which is what you're explaining right now. And we're going to give them an objective answer of what is the best so that they don't have to have this argument ever with anybody. Look, if you're listening to the show, you're getting insider information, right? You get to choose what to do with that. You can walk around and tell everybody if you hear them having the argument. They can try to pull you in. You can say, you know what? I'm not going to have this argument. I know the answer. Have a great day. You get to choose what you do. That's the privilege of being one of the people of the world. But it's our job, Mark, to supply them with all the equipment that they need to make that choice. So we got to make the decision here. This isn't the every theater's good. This is one of the only one can win. So we got stuff.
Every theater's good. Hal.
Every theater's special. Every
theater's great. Okay, let's take a look then at, so we've covered immersive, and that actually takes a big chunk of the theater that's like the newest stuff that's happening. Real quick, do you think that an escape room is theater?
No.
Yeah,
I don't. I think an escape room is an experience, is like a puzzle that you stand in, and sometimes actors are there to help be part of it. And you were there. Were you there the night? Maybe you were working for one of the ones for, I think it was for Fred's birthday. It's an escape room where there were actors there, and one of them was like chained up to a toilet. And we freed her, but she had to stay in the room with us the whole time and try to, like, we were failing as a group, could not find anything, could not figure out how to get through it. And this woman who was stayed the whole time as somebody who's like suffering through the trauma of having been kidnapped by a serial killer or whatever it was like, I can't believe what he's going to do. Check that dresser. Like, she was trying to help. And I really appreciated it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you were there. It was very stressful.
Yeah, it was very stressful.
There was too much stress, and I felt bad. Like, oh, you're doing a really great job. I'm sorry, I'm bad at this now.
There was one, and I think it was in the same place. I hope that I'm not blowing an escape. I won't say what the escape room is so I don't blow it for anybody. But there was a theatrical moment in it that I was like, oh, that is an experience that you are giving to your audience of 5 or however many, and an experience you're really giving to one person. And it is very, very dark, but it's sort of a Saw-esque moment where someone is hooked up to some tubes, and those tubes are like, hooked up to the tubes as in like an IV. And we learn at one point late in the game that in order for us to get a key that's going to get us out of this escape room, we are going to have to administer that IV to this person by pressing a button.
It was the same one.
Was that the same? I don't know if it was the same room. I think it may have been a different room in the same place.
Maybe.
But that was intense.
Yeah. That's real intense.
That was intense.
A lot of that was intense and scary and dark lighting. And I had fun being with everybody, but I felt awful. Like, I'm not paying off your performance by escaping. Really, it's like, that's our show.
Yeah.
And they're just they're a piece of an overall adventure. I think that is a fine acting job to have. Like, totally worthy work. I would not call that a show.
Yeah. I think it's got theatrical elements.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And all respect to those who do it. Half of what I do in theme parks is not shows. It is theatrical elements. So I get it. But we're talking about a theater experience. And there are some, because we are, yes, we both love theater. We are talking about subjective things and trying to figure out objectively what is the best. And there are some objective differences between a few of these. So let me give a little rundown of just a couple of them now. Then we'll take a break. And then there's a couple more I want to add on at the end. But
I love it.
The main difference between all of these different types of theater is where the audience is sitting and on how many sides. So you've got a proscenium theater framed with the proscenium arch. That is, all of the audience is on one side facing in one direction toward the stage. Yes. You've got an end stage or a platform stage, which is just a proscenium theater without the proscenium. So it's just a platform and chairs are aimed at it. Think about
like every improv theater.
Every improv theater.
Almost.
A lot of them. Then you have many improv theaters also are a thrust stage. Just went to one in London that was a thrust stage and it was great. And that is where there is audience on 3 sides. Yeah. So you've got audience in the front and on both sides, but still an upstage wall that can have scenery and backdrops on it.
Yes.
Then you've got a catwalk, which is 2 long sides and one end. Those stages are usually not for proper theatrical productions, more generally for award shows, fashion shows, etc.
Yeah.
You've got a profile stage. That is an audience on 2 sides. So 2 sides facing one another with the stage in the middle. Yeah. Which is rarer, but an interesting way to do it. Then you've got theater in the round, which is the audience on 4 sides with 4 VOMs that extend out for entrances and exits. And then, of course, Unless you are in a huge band or a backup dancer for a pop singer, you might not experience this version, which is the arena, which is all sides. Wherever the sides are, round, oval, square, whatever, usually really big. That's your Colosseum in Rome, everything from your Colosseum in Rome to, Soldier Field in Chicago.
Yes.
So these are all the different size types of theater experience based on the seating of the audience.
Sounds good. Why don't we take a break? And then we'll get into them. I had an immediate question about one of them, but I'm going to make everybody wait, including you, until after the break.
All right.
Sleep is important, but it's difficult sometimes. I'm John Moe. On Sleeping with Celebrities, famous people help conk you out by talking in soothing voices about unimportant things. Maria Bamford on parking.
I parked in a bus stop. That's just not right. I am not a bus.
Roxane Gay on airports.
My favorite airport is Indianapolis. It has a really smart layout.
Alan Tudyk on yardsticks.
You hand somebody a yardstick, yardsticks become part of the family.
Granted, it's a weird idea, but it's lots of fun, and it works. Listen wherever you get podcasts.
Hey, it's Sue the subway train. Hey, guess what, Sue? I just inherited a game show, and I have to continue it because there are people out there who like to curl up into a ball and listen to it. Yeah, it's a podcast where listeners submit game show ideas for others to play on air. Well, it is. In fact, the dumber the better. Right. It's called Dr. Game Show. Some curled up balls consider it a tradition, while others call it a train wreck. No, not you, Sue. It's Dr. Game Show. If you're the sort that likes to listen to people competing for refrigerator magnets, then curl up into a ball and listen to Dr. Game Show every other Wednesday, MaximumFun.org.
Okay, here's my question. Thank you, everybody, for being so patient and waiting. Mm-hmm. You were recently in the wonderful Winter of Oz, which, by the way, I'll ask you on air. I was going to ask you, do you have a program from that? Do you keep programs of shows that you do? Okay. I was going to say, I kept mine for you in case you didn't have one.
Oh, thanks.
So
I appreciate that.
I'm going to shred it now.
How dare you?
That was at the Thousand Oaks Performing Arts Center. Very cool place. Yeah. I would call that a thrust stage. But it's really more of a proscenium arch, isn't it? But it comes because we're all facing you. But there are areas, the stage is level with the entrance on either side that the audience comes in, and they go down to sort of the orchestra / pit area. And then there are raised seats, which is where I was sitting.
Yeah. The reason for that is because that building is modular, and that is also where they hold their city council meetings. So the entire orchestra section of the theater becomes the floor when they're having municipal things. So that's why that's kind of an odd theater, but it is a straight up proscenium theater. It's just got a big apron on it.
Right. Yeah. Cause you were coming in from the wings.
Yeah. The audience is all facing the same direction. 3/4 thrust. I'm trying to think of, famously a 3/4 thrust is the Globe Theater in London.
Yes.
Shakespeare's Globe is a thrust stage with one back wall and the stage extending out. I love a thrust. It takes a really savvy director to do thrust or a theater in the round because you're not playing off the same rules that you're playing with in a proscenium theater. You're not trying to have one person, everything go out in the same direction. Everybody's not sending their lines and their energy and their focus the same way. You've got three sides to worry about. So you're playing angles. You're constantly moving. You can have intimate conversations where you can turn all the way to the person next to you because somebody in the audience is going to get a great view of it. So that, I think as an actor, I wonder if we need to look at this as an audience member and like from both sides, an audience member and a performer. Since that's the only way we can look at things.
It's true. I think it's hard not to bring your experiences into it as a performer. I think this was asked as a theater goer. So live theater experience. This is for the people who are going to see it. But those are two sides of the same coin, and I'll tell you why. If you are mounting something that is in a proscenium arch versus a thrust versus in the round versus even arena, you have to block your show so that anyone in the audience is able to see something, that they all have hopefully the same experience. Unlike an interactive where you can sort of go where you want. This is everybody should sort of see the same thing. And there are challenges in that we would think it's easiest for a proscenium arch or something where everybody's looking in the same direction. However, that can be limiting in terms of how you play everything because you want to play a lot of it out.
Yeah.
When you move to a thrust, then all of a sudden you've got these side sections in, and you need to make sure as a performer and as the person, as a choreographer, as a director, that everybody is looking everywhere so that people in the audience don't feel like, oh, I'm sitting in the side. This is going to suck. I'm not going to be able to see anything.
Yeah.
And so they all have their challenges. I think in theater in the round feels like something, to me, it feels like it's more for the artist or really the director who thinks it would be interesting or producer than it is for the audience, because you do not get to see everything. It's novel, but I don't think it's the best experience. And I was an apprentice at a theater where when I worked there, we kicked off our season. This is the Arden Theater in Philadelphia, who said they were going to fire me when I quit, but I quit first. So
yeah,
I left. And they shouldn't have said that. This is my chance to air this is the Hal Airs Grievances mini episode of this. We're going to talk theater.
Yeah.
But the season kicked off with an in the round production of Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, which there's no reason for that to be in the round in particular. And the cast was very good. And I'm sorry, one time I washed all your clothes and then forgot to put them in the dryer. So you had wet clothes, but that's for you to deal with, not me. But I felt when I went to see it, I was like, they're not playing it for anybody. I'm just sort of observing it. It feels like I'm at the zoo. And that I get how that can be compelling as an audience member, but also I can't see everything because nobody can play to everybody all at once.
Yeah, that's true.
You're looking at backs of heads for at least a portion of it because the other side has to see. Right.
But is that, you don't like that if it's at all, if you're seeing backs of heads at all?
I would not buy a theater ticket to look at Brick's butt for half of a show.
Depends
or a
on who's
quarter
playing
of a show.
Brick.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is very fair. But like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not seeing what's going on. I appreciate the novelty of it. It feels more novel to me than it does. There are a lot of different ways. Like the turntable they used in Les Mis gives the same idea of like movement and people going around. Like I like that more than I like an in the round experience. I appreciate it. I don't think it's the best one. Just by the very nature of, as an audience goer, you are not going to have people playing to you a certain percentage of the time, at least a quarter to half of the time. I would say it's being played to someone else and you're trying to find your own angle.
Yeah, I can see how that's frustrating. But for me, a theater in the round experience, that's part of what it's about. I feel because it's usually a much more intimate space.
Right.
In my experience, it's both on stage and in the audience. It's more intimate. You're really focusing on the actors. And so it becomes really, really about the performance. It doesn't have a lot of the razzle dazzle like a big turntable to distract you from the performances. Or to enhance, distract maybe feels like a loaded word. But if you're in this intimate space, if I'm seeing good theater, really good theater in the round, that can move me beyond anything else. But I think that maybe this production wasn't great, and that might be the downfall of the in the round theater, because you really have to have the equality variant is really in play in this. If you've got expert theater crafters, because you've also got, it's not just about having the performers on the stage, but you've got lights, you've got minimal set pieces frequently, you've got all the sound, all of the other different elements that create a piece of theater. You're doing it in an intimate space. So, in an intimate space where every other audience member can see your face. Right. So if it's one of those situations where the whole audience kind of knows this play ain't working, or a couple of people in the front row are nodding off, it affects the energy in the room.
I mean, like the time I was working the box office at the theater during that run, and somebody came to me, somebody who was ushering came up and was like, somebody fell asleep and is snoring.
Gosh.
In their seats. I'm like, oh my Lord.
Yeah.
And then I found out it was my cousin.
Yay. Yeah. So that is the kind of experience in a theater like that, that it's unforgiving, I guess would be the best way I could put that.
Yeah. That's part of the issue, right? Is there's it better be good. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's any configuration of a theater that can save a bad show. If something's bad, it's bad.
Yeah. And also a theater in the round doesn't have, there's something to me about a back wall that I love. And maybe a thrust is the best of both worlds. Let's talk about the thrust a little bit because you've got audience on three sides. Yeah. So it is that little bit more of intimacy, but you've also got a way for the actors to get on and off the stage. You've got something to hide behind for scene changes and costume changes. You've got the ability to project or paint or build on a flat 2D surface that extends outward. So yeah, they're all like different media. You know what I mean? Like it's painting versus sculpting versus, whatever. It's all different. I feel like there's such different ways to put together a show based on the space that you've got.
Let me ask you this. You're going to see a thrust show. Mm-hmm. And I tell you, you get first pick. You can sit anywhere in this theater to watch this show. Where you're going to sit and why?
I'm going to sit second row on the corner.
On the corner.
On one of the two corners of the front two corners.
So that you're going to sit in one of the side sections.
No, middle section, corner seat. Yeah.
You want like an aisle, bottom right, bottom left.
Yeah.
You want to sit front row, but you want to sit in the center
not front
section.
Row, second row.
Why second row? What? Not second row. Why? Second row, I understand you don't want to be right up because then you're craning your neck. Mm-hmm. Why do you want to sit in the center section?
I want to sit in the center section because I'm going to get to see the proscenium wall best. If it is or not the proscenium wall, but yeah, I guess it would be. I want to see the upstage wall. So I want the fullest version of the experience of the show.
Right. So now we're getting into it, right? Because
hold on a second though.
Setup.
Yeah.
To sit on either side. Mm-hmm. You got a better chance at maybe seeing people getting ready to come on or when they leave stage. So it can destroy sort of like, the time Jennifer and I went on Soarin', I know I've told this story here before, and she was like, let's sit far right. So we sat far right. She thought it was the best seat, and I was sitting all the way far right. So in a third of my periphery were the gears and all the mechanics.
Yeah.
So as a joke for her, every time she looked over, I was just staring up at the mechanics. Like it took me out of. Then I start thinking about like, oh, it's really amazing how they put all this together. I want to look at the craftsmanship of it rather than I'm enjoying the experience of this show. I'm enjoying the experience of soaring over the state of California. Instead, I'm getting caught up in like, oh, there they go off stage. I wonder who's coming on next. Are they doing a quick change right now? Like, I don't want to see that. And there are seats where you have a much better chance of that happening. And it's in the sides. Those are the seats that fill up last.
Of course. I mean, but at Disneyland in a ride, that's just luck of the draw frequently where you're going to sit in a thing. In a theater, that's why there's price tiers. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, there are better seats, So I think we'd be hard pressed to pick a theatrical venue or space that every seat is going to be equal. I think that might be unrealistic to think that we can pick a theater space where every seat is going to have an equal opportunity to see the same thing. Even in a proscenium theater, the back row seats are cheaper than the front middle section because the front middle section is better seats. The corners might be partial view or you might be looking into the wings. But for me, I want to be in the theater. I want to experience that show frequently, regardless of where I'm sitting. Sure, I'd love to have a great seat in the house, but to be in the room where it happens, to be in a theater space when a production and a moment is going on. Theater happens in a moment. It can't be successfully recorded. It only exists for the moment that it happens and then is gone, and a whole new experience happens the next night at 8. So if that's the case, there's going to be viewpoints of where you can see the show that aren't all going to be great. But being in the room for me is the thing.
What I'm saying is you're choosing the center section because we know that those side sections just aren't going to be as good. And it's not about equality of seats. In a proscenium theater, like you said, there are seats that are better. I would argue like anywhere towards the middle of the audience is the best because you get a little bit of distance so you can see everything.
Yeah.
But also you're not so far away that you can't, that just looks like a bunch of ants moving around. Like you want to be close enough to feel like your emotional connection to it is a little stronger when you are closer. Can be.
Front middle is great, I think, for me too, because and we're talking in a proscenium theater now, because I can see the whole set, but I can also see the facial expressions. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
So I want to be in that sweet spot where I can check out both. But we've started talking about the proscenium. So let's jump into the proscenium theater now and talk about those. Indoor proscenium theater is a creation of the Renaissance, perfected in the Baroque era, because for me, I think a good proscenium theater, when I think of a theatrical experience, it's not just what happens on the stage. For me, it's about the lobby, the chandelier, the ceiling, the walls, the way that the room looks, the physical space that we're in. How ornate or not ornate is the proscenium? How have they built, the organ pipes into the walls if it's an old place? How far does the balcony overhang? How many tiers? Like a good proscenium theater is a work of art. I've never seen a show in the Palais Garnier in Paris, but it's one of the greatest works of art I've ever seen is the Paris Opera House. So I think for me, there's that added element. In a proscenium theater, you've got all of these different pieces that make a theater when you talk about one. And that's, the red curtain and the ornate frame and the lobby staircase, all of these things. But fundamentally for me, when I'm looking at the different kinds of theater space, is the experience I want to have. Do I want to be looking through a window? Because that's what a proscenium theater is that window, right? It's literally a proscenium. It is a framed image. The fourth wall is that window pane. Or do I want the intimacy of a smaller in the round or 3/4 thrust experience? We didn't really talk about the black box, but a black box space can be...
It's modular.
Modular, yeah. That's the beauty of a black box. And I would throw the black box... I would say, to me, that this is a philosophical difference and a binary battle between a proscenium theater and a black box theater where you can put the chairs in any configuration you want in an intimate space.
I did a black box show that was... I don't remember the term for it, where the audience is on either side.
That would be profile stage.
Profile stage. So we did She Stoops to Conquer profile in a profile stage. It was fun. I'll say as an actor, I just came in, I knew where I was going and I got to play around. That was one of those transcendent experiences. And as an actor, when you're doing that stuff, you're at a certain point, you shouldn't be thinking about blocking anymore. You're just thinking about playing the scene and being this character and having fun with it. And when you're doing that, you don't think about it as much, but also I don't know what people saw. I don't know if there was one side that was better to see what I was doing than another. I would imagine there was, because I spent time arm up on the railing over here. And then this area, I would go do this. And only people over here could see it. Now I have pictures. So I have pictures of it, but the pictures are all from stage stuff. We staged pictures. So there's no, we can get whatever angle we want. The two best shows I've ever seen were both proscenium shows.
What were those shows?
One was Play That Goes Wrong.
Oh.
And the other is Avenue Q.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason, outside of them both being great shows, that I loved, that I found personally inspirational, is that I saw everything. I didn't miss anything. Everything was played out in my direction. And I didn't feel especially Play That Goes Wrong, they're coming in through the theater as you're being seated. There's stuff going on constantly because the conceit is that you're in a theater. So there are ways you can stage a show in a proscenium theater that still make it feel interactive. So there is an interactive element to it. It involves that, but getting to see everything in a show, both of those shows have huge moving sets. What happens with those sets is important, whether it's working puppets, whether it's this part of the stage falls down and you need to be able to see in it's not all played out. The room is an actual room, but you can see both of the walls. You get to see everything. And we were seated the front of the balcony area. And that was the best. You could really see everything, including the sound guy, the stage manager who's in his little nest.
Right.
Stage left. Getting to see all that. To me, those are really good experiences. And I didn't feel a lack of connection or anything just because it was played in a proscenium. What about you? Think of the two best shows you've ever seen.
Yeah.
And what kind of theater did the configuration make a difference?
I think for me, it's tough because the best shows that I've seen have been in proscenium theaters. And maybe the quantifiable difference is the best shows all wind up in a proscenium theater. But the best shows I've seen have been in a proscenium theater because they've been that version of successful that they are reaching a giant, broad audience from that space. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's tough because, like I said, I look at it as two different things. And maybe it is because we're trying to quantify this, that for you, I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Better not.
Within one performance,
okay,
the quantity is important as well as the quality of the performance. Even if I'm partially blocked in the round show, if I catch moments, that's what I'm going to remember, is great moments from the show that I do catch. Because as an audience member in something like that, I feel more like I'm eavesdropping on something.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in a big proscenium show, it's all going to be aimed at me. So I'm going to get the full quantity of the show. I just might miss some of those intimate moments. And that's why I think it comes down philosophically to the two things. Is it the concept of theater in a proscenium as a window where you are looking at a story with a fourth wall? Or is it an intimate space that is the entire volume of that space, like an imagination aquarium, is the room where the whole thing happens. And regardless of how much of the show you see, you are there for the experience of it.
I think if I'm going to see a show, if you're paying to see a show, that the best experience should be seeing all of it. And then you will still, there will be moments you will take away that will be really important to you, but you'll get to pick from all of them rather than this is what I got to see.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. And I think you're right. Like, if we're doing it by the numbers, I think the best shows are proscenium shows.
Yeah.
I personally just love the design and style and building of a theater.
Right.
And the way that it looks. One of my favorite things to do in New York when I would walk around late at night was just walk around Broadway and try to strip away all of the advertising and just look at the buildings and try to figure out how the theater was configured. Like, oh, I see. Okay, there's the big double doors there with the tall. Oh, okay. I see they've got dressing rooms above in the flight. You know what I mean? Like, I love that, the physical theater itself.
Sure.
So I think that is a huge part of it. And yeah, again, by the numbers, the number of great in the round shows is most decidedly dwarfed by the number of great proscenium plays and musicals.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
all right.
Are we ready?
I think, I think we're ready to rule.
People of the world, all the world's a stage, and all of us merely players. And the best stage for us to do our playing, when we do the play, all the plays and the world plays, the proscenium stage. It's classic. There's a reason why it continues, why it's become, since the Baroque era, since it really caught on, those indoor theaters, that it has persisted. And that's because it allows you to see everything. There are very few bad seats in the house for a good proscenium, a well set up proscenium theater. There are always bad seats in almost any other setup. And that's why, as a theater going experience, the proscenium still works so well. So that is the best live theater experience, or the best theater space is really what we've dubbed this.
Yeah.
Asked and answered.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for that, Lucas Z. Saber. I don't know if Z is your middle initial or if you are French and you are Lucas Z. Saber and that's your pirate name.
And you were in the Beast's castle.
Yeah.
Your song got cut. How appropriate. The Saber song got cut.
They cut the Saber song.
Just a slice of love. Just a slice of love.
Oh, I get why.
People will get together. It's a slice of love. Oh, we're cutting this. Okay.
It was a 70s French disco song. Is that why?
Slice of love.
Oh, it's a slice of love.
Come on, baby, give me a slice of love.
Sing it, Candelabra.
Slice of love.
Oh, the theater's on fire now.
Oh, I should not have danced. Anyway.
Yeah. Look, what the main thing we're going to take away from this is don't thatch your roofs if you're doing a production of Lucas Saber's song and you're asking the candelabra to dance.
Huge mistake.
Huge mistake. Well, thank you for the topic. This was a fun one. I love talking about theater, obviously, but there are many more topics to discuss that aren't about theater. So please reach out to us via email at wegotThisPodcast@gmail.com or
Find us on social media at We Got This Podcast, with the exception of Instagram, where we are at We Got This Show. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Look for We Got This Podcast on there. You'll see our logo and you can listen to all of our episodes. You can see exclusive video content. And the best way to know when things are happening, including live streams and when new stuff drops, is to be subscribed. It costs you nothing and it means everything to us. Also join our Discord, bit.ly/WGT Discord. Thank you to producer Ken Plume, researcher Kate McManus, graphic designer Uri Kelman, and QA engineer Jen Alba.
And thanks, of course, to our musicians, Jonathan Dinerstein and Mike Furman, for our score and theme song, respectively. And thanks to you, the people of the world, for giving us a chance to sit here week in and week out and just talk about the things that we care about. And I hope you care about too. And if you don't care about them before we talk about them, we hope that we make you care about them a little bit. And by the end of the episode, have a fervent opinion about everything. That is our goal. So thank you for reaching that goal so many times, as we have heard about all the times we are right and wrong about things, more so about the latter, but That's true. Wouldn't do it without you. We couldn't do it without you. So to you, we say thank you, thank you, thank you. For Hal Lublin, I'm Mark Gagliardi.
For Mark Gagliardi, I'm Hal Lublin. And don't worry, everybody. We got this.
We got this.
Maximum Fun,
a worker-owned network
of artist-owned shows,
supported
directly by you.